All right, tough loss yesterday. Going back and looking at the film, we're going up against a good football team. It's going to require, an excellent effort for 60 minutes. Thought we battled hard. Thought we overcame some early adversity. You're going up against a team that has a top 5 offense. They have a top 5 defense, and I thought we battled hard and held our own. They made some plays. We made some plays. It's a 3-point game, and there's no consolation prize for keeping it clean. We feel like we should win. We need to make a few more plays, and that's what we're all looking at today. Looking at the film, saying where's the one better call that I can make? Where's the one better play that I can make? Where did I break down? How can we do a little bit better to win a close game against one of the better teams in the NFL, what we believe is one of the better teams in the NFL. So proud of the way the guys fought, and we'll reset. We'll hit the reset button. In fact, we already hit it because part of this week's preparation is how we digest this film today. So as far as injuries, after the game, Jordan Glasgow did see the trainers and ends up in concussion protocol. And obviously Carson can confirm that Carson does have sprains in both ankles.
All right, Greg Doyle.
Yeah, Frank, he has sprains in both ankles. What more? What does that mean? How is he going to play Sunday?
Yeah, we'll have to see, Greg, as we go here. Read all the reports here in a few minutes after this call, have a medical meeting with Chris and the doctors, and we'll talk through it together as a staff, get more. I'll be able to hear more detail. I've been with the players most of the morning, so get more details from the docs, and we'll map out a plan for this week.
Mike Chappell.
Yeah, Frank, a lot of, I guess until we have definition is more hypothetical, but do you move forward until known otherwise that Jacob has to be ready to play on Sunday?
Yeah, no, it's there's no doubt. We got a lot of confidence, right, in every man on this roster. And if Jacob has to play, then Jacob will be ready. So I think Jacob's been doing a really good job. He's been really dialed in. Scott Milanovic, our quarterback coach, has really spent a lot of time with Jacob, all through training camp, but even here in these first couple of weeks, preparing Jacob just like he's playing. So if called upon, I'm confident that Jacob will do a nice job. What the situation he got thrown into the other day is as tough as it gets. I can tell you that from experience. So he'll be ready if he has to be.
Zach Kiefer.
Greg, after we talked to you yesterday, we talked to Ryan and Quentin, and they said, forget play calls, forget the situation. They're just not winning up front, and that's what's most frustrating for them. When you looked at the tape today, what did you see offensive line wise that just isn't characteristic of what you guys have looked like in the past?
Yeah, well, see, that's what I love about those guys. That's what I love about Ryan Kelly and Quentin, is that I love guys who want to put it on their shoulders, who want to take the blame. And for sure we can get better, but actually, Zach, when I watched the tape today, and then it's funny, Chris Ballard and I kind of independently came to the same conclusion, like, the O-line there was a lot of good stuff. Fisher comes off his deal and played well, played pretty well. There's a couple plays, but he plays 49 plays or 47 plays or something like that and plays well. Quentin, really hasn't barely practiced. Quentin played really well. I thought Quentin played really well, graded out very high. And then as a unit, there were a couple spots, Zach, I'm not denying that there were a couple spots that, the protection broke down a couple of times that, we're not used to, but we'll get that cleaned up. And, we're going up against a very good defense. So we're still a work in progress. I'm very confident in our O-line. I think we'll continue to get better.
JJ.
Hey, Frank, last week you said, you were pretty happy with how Carson operated post-snap. Where was that this week for you guys, just in terms of making the right reads, making the right throws, getting the ball out on time?
It was pretty good. Thought he really made some good decisions, work those progressions. There's a couple plays, there's 2 or 3 plays, we talked about it today as we went through the film. I mean, you throw it 35, 40 times, there's going to be some plays you want back. It's a hard position to play, but I think by and large, he was pretty good in those decisions.
Stephen Holder.
Frank, when you have red zone failures, how much of it, just from your experience as a play caller, how much of it generally comes down to execution, and how much of it is you later, perhaps second guessing yourself, or as you often do, I'm sure, as all people do. Do you ever find that it leans one way or the other?
No, I mean, I think when you fail in the red zone, I think appropriately everybody's taking the blame. I think coaches are taking the blame, play callers are taking the blame, and players are taking the blame. So that's a good thing. It's a good thing that everybody wants to take responsibility and find ways to get better, and we're all fighting to do that. So, from the way it works best, the best teams I've been around, it's the players say what they were saying to Zach. Hey, it doesn't matter what the play call is. We got to make whatever play call works. We got to make it go. And it works best when the coaches never blame the players, and the coaches put it on themselves and say, hey, we got to put the players in the best situation. If we can get each other thinking like that and working like that, hey, I was talking to one of the coaches today. I mean, we're playing a good defense. We're playing a well-coached team. You scheme some things up. We had some things schemed up in this plan that worked out incredibly well. I mean, incredibly well. We had some other things that didn't come out exactly how you think they are. When you're in the scheme world, not everything you dial up plays out exactly how you want it. You hope most of it does. And, they had some stuff schemed up that worked out well. They had other stuff schemed up that our defense shut down. That's just standard protocol in this league. So it's always that mix, Stephen. We're gonna, you got to just fight to execute no matter what the call is. No matter what the call, you're at the 1 yard line. We got to find a way to get it in.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to quick follow up. I mean, there was fans, ask questions, but I mean, I was not surprised at all that you went for it from 4th and 1 from the 1 yard line. I mean, in that scenario, in that situation, in time of the game and situation, et cetera, I mean, is that an automatic go for you pretty much?
Yeah, that was pretty much an automatic go for me in that situation. As for instance, the 4th and 3 at the end of the game when we kicked the field goal to tie it up, just for information purposes, was interestingly enough, that was a green. That was just barely a go. That was a green. That was I had the green light to go for that one according to the charts, but chose to kick the field goal to tie it up at that point.
All right, Mike Wells.
Hey, Frank, clearly with the uncertainty with Carson with both sprained ankles, what is it about Jacob that has you guys believing that he's a better quarterback now than what he was in training camp if he has to step in and start for who knows how long?
He's had a lot of reps during training camp, and he's worked hard just the way he's interacted in the meetings and the reps that he's got out in practice. You can see the growth. I can see the growth these last 2 weeks as he was running scout team. I can see the growth from the way he's run scout team this year compared to the way he ran it last year. So he's making the right steps.
And when you look at where has been the biggest leap? I know you just ran off some things that you improved on, but where has been the biggest leap? I know in training camp we were talking about making bigger, quicker reads, getting rid of the ball quicker. As a coaching staff, where have you seen his the biggest leap he's made?
Better identifications of fronts and coverages, like when we're in run checks, knowing which run check to get us into, and in the pass game, being able to identify coverages and, the way teams disguise coverages and the way our defense disguises coverages, and then, working the progression accordingly.
Joel Erickson.
Frank, when you look at the 2 red zone trips that got inside the 5 and didn't make it, was there anything play call wise that you wish you'd done differently?
On the first one, when we got it 1st and goal at the 1, when it got to be inches, I probably, in hindsight, I think maybe I should have just called a quarterback sneak right there with inches to go for, I think it was second in inches, or third in inches. That was one of the questions that went through my mind last night. We hadn't thought, we don't run very many quarterback sneaks down there. I mean, when you think about the 4 years that we've been here, we don't run that many quarterback sneaks down there, but maybe that would have been one instance where I had to. For some reason, the last call when we threw it on the last down, they guessed right because they were playing pass and they guessed right. The other one, Joel, no, I don't. The other one, the shovel pass, just watching it on tape like 10 times already. Aaron Donald makes a great play. If we execute on Aaron Donald, which that's a tough assignment to do, but if we execute on him, I think we have a walk-in touchdown.
Kevin Bowen.
Hey, Frank, will Braden practice this week? And then update on Paris Campbell. I don't think we asked about him on Friday or Sunday.
Yeah, I'm not avoiding, I want to get with the docs here in a little bit and just map out a plan for each of the guys. So no updates yet at this point.
Greg Doyle.
Frank, forgive me for this, but we've been waiting all day for this update, and obviously Carson's got issues. Braden's got something you guys won't talk about, which makes it sound terrible. And you're going to talk to the doctors after you hang up with us. I mean, what's going on here? Why are you not being more forthcoming? And why didn't you talk to them before you got on with us?
Well, because mainly I've been in meetings with the players all day. Chris gets in meetings with the docs early. I'm meeting with the players. And then after the players are gone, then I get with the medical staff and Chris and the coordinators. And then we talk about how here's who we're seeing being available. It's really, Greg, it's a great question by you. It's a very fair question, but it's more a question of, just organization throughout the day. I mean, it's just, the priority of things, getting the players in and out of the building. That's the first priority. My priority right now is the players and going through, as far as having to make a decision on who's practicing on Wednesday, why try to make that decision, Monday at 12 o'clock when, I got more pressing issues at the time. That decision is an important decision, but there's time to play that out.
Well, if you find out something here in the next hour, radical, we're talking about your starting quarterback. Are you guys going to let us know, or are we just going to read Adam Schefter's tweet because that's the way it goes?
Yeah, no, you'll probably read his tweet because, I mean, there are competitive advantages and disadvantages to information and misinformation. And so you guys know me, I think I've been very fair with you guys, Greg, for 4 years. And I hope everybody on this call would attest to that. When I think there's information I can give you that's appropriate, I give it to you. But when I don't have the information, or if there's reason not to give something that I think, it doesn't make sense to give out information before it needs to be given out at certain times.
All right, we'll go last one here, Mike Chappell.
Yeah, Frank, and this will probably be a short answer because I kind of know what you're going to say. But with short-term IR with ankles, I mean, have you had that discussion yet, or will that be with your meeting with the docs?
Well, Greg's going to be mad at me, but I haven't talked to the docs yet about the short-term discussion on IR. But
I'm mad at you.
But if they tell me, Greg, I'm going to call you personally and let you know first.
So you haven't had that discussion yet at all?
No, chat. We have not had that discussion at all. I have
Hey,
just.
Both these ankles happened yesterday.
Go ahead, Mike Wells. Go ahead.
Oh, hey, Frank, we didn't ask. We saw when Carson suffered the right ankle injury. Did he suffer the left ankle injury on the exact same play?
No, it was earlier in the game.
Right, how debilitating are ankle injuries for quarterbacks, and what are the limitations that come with this?
Yeah, I mean, as you guys know this as well as I do, that sprained ankles, they're degrees, right? Somewhere from 1 to 100, and I know this. I know Carson has a very high threshold of pain. Naturally, I think it goes without saying that when you got a guy who's a pocket passer, it affects his game a little bit less than a guy who is a mobile quarterback. I mean, I think that's not rocket science. I think everybody understands that to be true. So, you know, my history with Carson is that he's a pretty fast healer and that he's tough. And if there's any chance he can play with these ankle sprains, then he'll play. And obviously, it's an incredibly big game. I mean, you know, we're not holding back anything. So this is a big game. So if he can play, he'll play.